third is the family life cycle. Within family, the concept of a family life cycle, FLC as we refer, FLC refers to the various stages in life that individual is in. And that stages in life and the need thereof is a subject matter of a marketeer's target. So I start as a individual dependent, then I start an earning member, non-dependent, then I become married. So married with one income, my spouse is not income, or I am married to a lady who's also earning, so double income, no kids. Then comes the kids into picture. Then kids grow up, kids married off, they are separating from you. Both you live without the kids, the empty nest, as they say. And then the widower, and those kind of a classifications. There are many classifications which various product categories, financial, insurance, etc., try to relate you with, so retirement plans, or the good lifestyle plan. So there are builders who offer you a good post retirement housing facility which is equipped to support this kind of a family. So those kind of things are also happening. A revised FLC concept, I'm not getting said too much into it. This family life cycle can be classified or has been classified in many ways. This is another way: young, married with kids, double income, single parent, divorcee, and older people, single or remarried, and various. So each of this have a person in picture, his needs in picture, and therefore he or she becomes a target group. That's where the group influence comes. And that group influence, if marketing understands, can put forward their things very well. These are the strategic aspects, which is not that, it's given in the book. You may read this, how this is leveraged by the marketeers. So now we come to a different categorization, social class. Though this has a not so much of a significance, but yes, it does drive you as a understanding is needed, and for many products it does matter. So social class is the society classification on certain aspects. It could be income, it could be wealth, the power, the prestige on which the society is divided. Society continues to be divided right from the time it was formed. Researchers have found this as a strata. They have defined this as a various strata of the society, where certain group of people fall in that strata of the society. It's a division of the society at large. Society at large, based on the hierarchy of a distinct status, hierarchy of a status based on income, based on the trade in which they are. So that's what we regard doctors as a very high strata, this thing, their opinion matter. We do not regard the cobbler or the sweeper that much of a significance or an importance. So that's a strata, that's a division in the society. Marketeer can use you of this strata science very well. So to understand why marketeers, it is very important. So there are certain underlying aspects to this social class. They are often measured in terms of the social status, the status in the society. That's how they are generally measured. High income, poor, low income, middle class, as we say. It's hierarchical. Hierarchical means you belong to a strata and you can aspire to go above. So I may be like on my income 8 days, etc. I was say like a middle class. Then over this thing, I built myself. So probably I can be today classified as a high income, person. So this is how the hierarchy is. So there's an aspiration to grow. So that's where the marketing segmentation is also possible based on the strata that one can look at as an opportunity. Strata and the behavioral aspects are having a commonness. So you are into particular strata and therefore your behavior is aligned with that people, other behavior in that strata. So now the behavioral aspects generally marketer look at. Frame of reference is also limited. Your frame of reference is the strata in which you are. So because people living around you are also of similar nature, so your frame of reference is also aligned with the strata in the society. So that's where the opportunity for the marketeers are there. So social status, when you say social status can be wealth, can be power, can be prestige, on which a classification is possible. Marketer considers it differently. Marketing mix can be evolved to satisfy the specific strata of the society. You can have a different marketing mix to appeal to different strata of the society for the same product, or product made to align with the different strata of the society, as the case may be. Here is a representative example wherein these are the most common classification: lower class people to upper lower middle, upper middle, lower upper, and upper. So this is a common, say, kind of a international classification. Each country may or may not publish data that way, but yes, you do get an idea about low income group, middle class, upper class, etc. There are additional like HNIS and the high income net worth and all. So that's a different thing. Systematic approach to measuring this has helped, and there are broad category under which it is done: subjective measure, reputational measure, and objective measures. So what are the subjective measures? In this approach, the measuring a social class or individual asked to estimate their own social class. So idea is, how do you go about doing this? Here straight away a question is asked to a person, and he is given an alternative, and he's been asked to choose. So if I am asked whether you think you belong to lower middle, upper middle, or upper class, or upper, वगैरह, so I may say I say belong to upper middle. So that's what my subjective assessment about me that I have given. Reputational measures. So here the approach to measure this thing is to help of an informant. You take an informant and you take his help or the judgment concerning social class about which you are trying to get the information about. So you have somebody from, say, that community, somebody from that group of strata of people picked up, and then you try to understand what are the dynamics of that social class, and from there the marketer can find his way forward. Objective measures, they are selected demographic variables. There are certain demographic variables on which demographic variables are the data points about which the data is available either in the population census or any other this thing. So like income classification, gender classification, age classification. So these are what so on that's an objective classification or way of measuring the social class. So variable chosen could be, as I told you, income, occupation, etc. You have single variable indexes or you have composite variable indexes. So single variable indexes will be either talking about occupation or income, etc. And composite variable means they will take more than one variable into account. We will look at the composite measurement, which is in India prevalent, is known as a socio-economic categorization, SEC classification. Most marketeers, while talking to an agency, will convey to them as to what is this SEC classification in which their target group of customers are falling. Traditional classification used to represent SECA represents white collar, SECB represents affluent but not white collar. That kind of classification was there. So we were understanding about social class. Now social class, as we said, needs to be measured. So how does this happen? So there is a country-wide classification that has been created. The Market Research Society of India, along with the various bodies and government, this thing have come up with this class categorization. So here the education is taken from illiterate to postgraduate and all, and then the number of durables that one occupies. So number of durables starts with simplest thing like telephone to other amenities, etc. And accordingly there are those codes which have been given. Okay. Now if I take this graduate, postgraduate owning almost 8 durables, then there is a categorization called A3. So when an advertising agency is told that my target segment is say A3, A2, etc., then they exactly know what are we referring to, and accordingly they will try to help you with media and those planning, so to say. There is for the rural India, while the above is true for the urban India, for rural India also the categorization has been developed. This has been developed on number of pakka houses, so that pakka, semi-pakka to kacha, and then the literacy level. In rural India also the education is taken. So illiterate to right from postgraduate, etc. And then these codes are given. R1, R2, R3 and R4. So there are those only 4 codes. R1 is the uppermost and R4 is the lowest most. This also is classification developed by the Market Research Society of India and gives it idea. So if you tell that I want to attract R3, that means the pakka ghar and somebody up to 9th standard educated. So that kind of understanding will come to the person who's then sitting on your advertising creativity to like media campaign, etc. So social class measurement enables person to know his ability to spend. Ability to spend, of course, depends on his income. So there is a relevance to this. So income of the family, social class, a higher class, etc., middle class, etc. All this categorization of a social class gives a marketeer an access in terms of knowing their need, kind of a product that they may like to have, their ability to spend, that is that money that they may have to spend, etc., and accordingly they can tweak their communication for them.